So yeah, everybody's gonna have a fun time. We try and just be encouraging for everybody. We've all got a voice. You may have a specific judgment about your voice. I don't like the way I sound. Well, you're here, which means that you like it to some degree. And I can guarantee that we already like it because it's what you've been given. And there's a voice that can be used for any and every genre. So enjoy what you learned today. And you get into it what you get out of it. You get out of it what you get in, what you put into it. That's the word. Yeah.
Work harder, not smarter.
Right. My sister actually said that. Work smarter or work harder. Work harder, not smarter.
Okay, well, I want to go down and just have everyone share their name, where they're from, and then what motivated you to sign up for today's workshop.
I'm going to start with Tom.
You want to talk? Okay, Tom, can you start us off?
Sure. So my name is Tom Sizemore. I actually live in Carrollton, Georgia. I was given this opportunity from a coworker. He knew that I would not step outside of my comfort zone and do it for myself. So just kind of interested to learn a lot about it and really serious to see what may come about it in the future.
That's great. What a great coworker too. My goodness. More coworkers like this. Okay. You want to start?
I'll take my mask off. So I'm allergic to dust. That's why I have this mask on. But my name is LaTanya Polk, and I live in Duluth. I've only been in Atlanta since last September. From North Carolina in Charlotte. And I sing. I'm a corporate trainer, so I spend a lot of times talking. And I actually had some participants on multiple sessions who say, have you ever thought about doing voiceover work? And I had never explored it, so when I saw this opportunity, I thought, why not?
Yeah, it's a way to step out.
I'm Kayla. I'm from Elwood, Georgia, and what motivated me to come here is that I really like watching cartoons and stuff, and I just think voice acting is really nice. I also like acting, so I said, why don't I try this out? A lot of people tell me, maybe voice, you should think about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
Thought about it, you did it. That's great.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Hans Wolf. I'm from Beaufort, Georgia recently. I've lived in Europe for 18 years, was born on the West Coast. Basically, a lot of my family is in theater, radio, and they've always said, you should go and do something. You've got a voice for it. I like to read books to my kids and invent the voices. I do some different accents and such like that. And the first step I took into it was earlier this year. My daughter is in marching band, and they do a competition at her school, and they did not have an announcer this year. So I went in and did the announcing on it.
Live announce.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was great. I was expecting a German accent when I saw Hans Wolf.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, but
That's my mom's maiden name.
oh, nice.
Which I should have taken as a stage name.
Mike
Like
Wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the wrong impression of introducing Night Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hey, I'm Helen. My mom got me to come here. My daughter came here because I've been out of voiceover for a while. I was with CESE in LA, so I feel like, I was very uncomfortable on camera to try voiceover, but I liked it. I just could have been better, and now I'm just back doing it again for fun. So yeah.
We had a mother-son duo in the morning session, so that's really fun.
You don't play video games, do you?
Nope.
It's not a dig against video games.
No, not at all. He was just big in that world, like subscribers and whatnot.
Yeah, it's helpful to play because you hear all those voices and they're really
totally.
talented. Yeah.
I'm Camille, and I'm from Atlanta. Atlanta is my home. And over the last several years, I've had people compliment my voice. But the last few months, someone did and recommended voiceover work. So when you said don't like your voice, when they say that, so I didn't know what that meant. But the last person said you should consider that, and was actually trying to encourage me to do some things online already. So if I was going to do this, I prefer to get some training, go to a workshop. So I looked it all up. So here we go.
That's great.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mykira. I am from Grayson, Georgia, and I decided to come here today because I've always been interested in voice acting. I love cartoons, animated series. I love, picking out different voices like, oh, she did Buttercup and, Tommy from Rugrats. Yeah. So I kind of want to do the same thing.
Hi everyone, Gloria is my name. I live in Tucker. I'm from Jamaica. And sometimes you might hear that. I chose to come here because I think it's important as an actress. And I get a lot of voiceover commercials and then sometimes voiceover film. And I realized, wow, there's so many different facets to your voice. I had an audition for The Exorcist. And I just went in my room and was like, okay, let's go back to that childhood innocence, let's play with it. And actually, what's his name? Blumhouse production, Blumhouse, Mr. Blum, he called my agent. I was like, can we have her do 2 other takes? If she needs a therapist, and I'm just like, but I say that to say I had given 2 very different takes initially. So when they asked me for the other 2 takes, I kind of didn't know where to take it because I know with those kind of roles, you have to make sure that you're able to maintain the voice. If there needs inflection on it, you just have to maintain it and speak regularly in it. And so I was like, I don't know what I would do differently. And so I think training is super important, knowing how to use your breath when speaking and knowing how to create characters and still be yourself so you can maintain those characters, especially over the years. That's why I'm here.
Awesome. What agent are you with?
Align Stars Agents Align.
I'm Big Helen, and I'm from Atlanta, and I've grown up listening to radio. I don't listen to it as much as I used to since everything's streaming. It's weird. I just always loved radio and just paying attention to voices and what ones that were appealing, ones that weren't, all that. And I sing, and I've taken voice lessons over the years and sung with choruses and stuff. Nothing professional or anything, but when daughter Helen was taking acting classes, I thought I wasn't really fully appreciating what she was doing, and I thought, I think I'll try it because my voice teacher had said acting will help your stage presentation and all that. And so I did it. I took acting classes for a couple of years, and it just made me realize, oh my goodness, there's such dimension to that. And then how voice, you're acting with voice, and I just find the whole thing interesting. And I'm not even sure. I'm just really here to have fun and stuff. Learn a little bit more about stuff that I've been interested in. But I'm just curious and
that's great. Do you
So
have
our
other...
goal is to get her totally interested.
Do you have any other family that live here in Atlanta? Mm-hmm. You do?
yes.
Because you look so much like some friends that we know, and they have a lot of sisters. But it's Donna Rogers is one of them, and you look very similar to her. But it's like, hey, no. Anyways, but she sings too. Donna sings, and you guys look very similar, except she's a brunette. But yeah,
I don't know.
And just for mine, who has the middle name with the G?
I'll go by the G or the Junior.
G. Okay. Just from my setup, I just need to be able to distinguish you two. I was like, Big Helen, all right.
Right.
That feels
very
I'm not calling you Big Helen.
That break.
I'm Ty Zaydam. I drove down from coming. Yeah, I know coming. But I'm from Oakland,
I've worked film crew here in Atlanta for, I lost count how many years now. But yeah, since the work slowed down, I've actually taken a handful of acting and improv classes, and over the years, I have done a handful of voice work for some people in the animation industry when they do indie stuff. I guess I want to take it more seriously and improve my acting skills, and see if I can build up something from there.
What set positions have you worked?
Special effects.
Oh, cool.
Not VFX, special
Yeah,
effects.
yeah. Practical. Nice.
That's awesome. That's great.
Hi, I'm Al. Originally from Minnesota. I moved down to Atlanta because LA was still expensive. But I did a lot of theater stuff, choir, middle school, high school, and college. It just kind of died out. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to major in and whatnot, but I've always loved entertaining, being on stage, performing, whether it be choir or being a goofball. And so I moved down here, pretty much have a steady job, just kind of doing handyman work, but I want to go the distance and entertain, do acting. I'm starting to take some classes. Voiceover work. My dad was a DJ in the 70s, so that kind of trickled down to me. So I have some old classic rock knowledge, and figured, well, I love animation, cartoons. Growing up, that was pretty much all that I watched, but comics and whatnot. So a lot of stuff. I just want to do everything and see if all sticks.
Cool.
Where are you taking acting?
I was taking some classes at Alliance Theater and then actually Ellen Jr. We had the classes they were canceled like the night of or the day before because the instructor wasn't capable of showing up or wasn't there or they didn't have enough people. And I was gonna do animation voiceover there, but they had canceled. So.
Oh, great! And then we cancel your first
Okay.
What is happening here?
All outside, like this better happen.
In all fairness, it was Georgia that canceled it.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you did because that was a mess.
Well, it worked out for me because I signed up after.
Oh, okay,
So
cool. Good.
it's not paid, so.
You're like, okay, good.
I think it was sold out, and then when I
Yes.
went back in,
Yeah.
it was open. I was like,
So it worked out for you guys. You're like, yeah, thank you, Snow. Thank you. That's great.
So, but you guys did a great job of at least letting us know
Yes.
what was going on before we all left out.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad everybody's safe too. Got here okay.
Hi, my name's Jen. I live in Burt, but my family recently moved here last August or so. We were in New Mexico, so weather's definitely
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm used to it, but I'm used to it now. So growing up, I always thought voice acting was really interesting. And the fact that it was a job, something years ago, that was pretty cool. So since I'm in a transition in my career and job because of this economy, I thought since I had this in between time, you'd be like, you know what, let's see what voiceover is all about and put some energy into that and see if it's something that I want to pursue a little bit further than what I did before.
What did you do before?
A lot of things.
Oh,
So before this, I was an environmental coordinator for military installations.
Wow.
Do just EPA type stuff.
Yeah.
Don't compliance. Don't litter. All that good stuff. Military base.
Check your grass.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then before that, I worked in satellite operations, government work again. And then I was in the Air Force for about a decade. So
You're like, I want to play a little. Like I want to not be as serious, right?
So yeah, I've been in a very concise, regulated, structured environment, and I've always been a creative person, right? And with acting and voiceover and in this type of industry, it is being creative with yourself, not what you can just make with your hands. But so I thought it might be a good change.
Yeah.
See how that works, because life goes up sometimes.
Yeah.
And just remind, was there a different email that you used to sign up, or what was your last name?
Yeah, why I am.
Okay.
I go by Jen because it's easier for everyone to say.
Got it. So do you want, which would you like in your file? Jen?
Sure.
Or I have Yin?
Then
Okay.
that's why I go with Jen.
But which would you prefer?
Jen's fine. Okay.
And John's asking because you guys will get into the booth and we'll record you, and then he's going to send you your files and recordings afterwards. So he's like, and then John,
Hi, my name is John Bertullo. I'm a full-time actor. I've been working full-time for 3 years, but I've been performing since I was 11. I went to school for film and television production, and kind of went down that track for a while and realized I was thinking more about what the actors were doing than my actual job as a camera assistant. So maybe I should start focusing on that end, and started taking classes here, and it's kind of been great ever since. So now I get to do this full time and help out Mike at night.
and John's actually going to also be teaching the beginner intensive that starts in February. So it's a great concept to the studio engineer and teach. Yeah. So
I'm really not needed.
So mascot.
That's right. I can work with that.
Get the training section going.
Yeah.
Well, today what we're going to do, but just to get her settled, but we're going to talk about what is voiceover. We're going to cover the different genres. We're going to cover like what do you need to get started in your voiceover career.
And the most important thing, we're even practice.
That's true. Yes.
Which, let me just say that real quick. So, ladies, if you make a right down the hall, that's where the ladies' restroom is. Then you're on the opposite side. So
Yeah, past the elevators. Yeah. And then we're also going to go over some foundational technique too. So we'll do that right before you guys get into the booth, so you feel like you can apply it with the the scripts and stuff. Chloe, did you want to share your name, where you're from, and then what motivated you to sign up for the class or workshop?
I'm Chloe, and I'm from Dunwoody. And what motivated me is one of my aunts. She's a radio host, and she told me about the class, and
Awesome. Is she a host here in Atlanta?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name is Elise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what station she's on?
Okay. Well, Mike and I, our background is radio, and so we still know some other. But it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've been in radio. Well, yeah. So let's go ahead and just dive in. So we're going to start off with what is voiceover. So voiceover is acting. That really truly is the foundation. Now, don't worry if you feel like I'm not a good actor. I've never taken any acting lessons. That's okay. That's part of what we teach. And then we always say if people still feel uncomfortable about it, or they need to grow a little bit in that area, there's some great acting classes here in town that we can totally recommend. But that is so important, is the acting element. And one of the reasons why that's so important is because of AI. Because AI mimics. You, as an actor, you bring your experiences, you bring your vulnerability, you bring your humanity, you bring your perspective, and no one else can emulate that. That's just you. So that's why it's really important to remember that aspect of it. The other thing that voiceover is that many people don't realize is it's a small business. So it is not like you come and you are like, great, I'm going to make a demo, send it out to agents. They're going to love me and hear me and send me out and give me opportunities. And then I will get the check in the mail, the end. So it's not like that at all. Now, you do get opportunities from agents. We'll go through all of that. But we really say treat it like you are starting a small business. And it's your freelance business. So you have to do all the things. And we'll go through some of that stuff too. But just have that mindset going into it. And then engineering, that may be like, that may draw fear in you. But, you know, back in the day, we did just have to like do our auditions from home and then we'd be booked in the studio like this. But that's not the case these days. All of our sessions generally are recorded at home from our home studio. And so what that means for you is if you want to be a voice actor, you really do have to make sure you can set up a home studio, that you can learn the equipment that you need to edit it, some of the connections. And we won't touch on a lot of that right now because we don't want to confuse you and you don't need to know that stuff quite yet. But just understand that that is part of being a voice actor. And then the other thing is just know that this is a craft and a skill that you continue to grow and learn and develop. So years go by. The great thing is you can still book jobs even when you feel like I still have a lot more to learn about the craft. You can still book jobs through that. But just know that it is a long journey that you need to continue to grow and develop.
Yeah, and things have changed over the years too. Voiceover used to be like a lot of announcer work that would be out there, and they'd ask for, we wanted an announcer, and there's still a place for that. There's tons of jobs, but now it's gotten morphed to just the conversational, authentic. So it's our job as actors, voice actors, to be able to run the gamut, to learn what we can do easily, lean into that, and then learn the other stuff so that we're more valuable as a talent for our own business as well as the agents that we get. What voiceover is not is passive income. Hans is shaking his head. Yeah. I wish it was. Or easy money. Now, there are always exceptions to the rule. There's somebody who will possibly jump in and just start making bank like that. Then there's other people who take a while to for things to hit. Heidi took 4 years to book with her first agent. 4 years. But she was doing other stuff along the same time.
Yeah, it was when I was working full-time in radio. But then that first year that I booked, I also booked a national campaign that ran for 3 years that paid me way more than radio and got us health insurance for several years through SAC. So, I mean, it's,
yeah,
everybody's different.
The other thing too, what voiceover is not, it's not just your voice. That's one of the biggest myths. It's not just your voice, because everybody here has a unique voice, personality-wise as well as vocal-wise. There's a spot for you in voiceover. There's so many opportunities in different genres and what becomes available. That's why I asked in the beginning, or said in the beginning, if you're not comfortable with your voice, you have to be to a certain degree. And it's okay, because every voice is needed, but it's not just your voice. It's what you bring with your voice. It's the acting portion with your voice. It's
the humanity.
That's why he's here. It's the humanity. You're bringing your authentic self, like Heidi was talking about. You had a good definition, I guess, with the demos. Like everybody who comes through here, we always get the email, okay, I'm ready for a demo. We're like, no, you're not. You just took an intro workshop. You were not ready. So if you think of your voice, you all understand, and I'm just looking at a baseline level, you all understand how to use your voice to a certain degree. It's like having a guitar, chords. You're not ready to sign a record label yet. Sign with a record label. So the journeyman aspect of the voiceover industry is learning those nuances. It's learning how to pick. It's learning how to make yourself more valuable across the board for your business. That's right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the different genres, because that's something that is really cool about voiceover. Is there are so many opportunities out there, and there's so many different lanes that you can go into. You can go into multiple lanes too if you want to, which is really exciting. So we wanted to touch on some of those different genres Now, the first one is commercial. And that's kind of the main one that we focus on in a lot of the foundational training. Like today, you're going to get commercial scripts. We're going to talk about some foundational technique to help you with those commercial scripts that can also be used in other things. But the reason why we do that is because if you are going to get on with an agent here in Atlanta, New York, LA, or whatever, you need to be able to do commercials and to send them a commercial demo. Even if you want to do animation, you need to send them a commercial demo. You may not even have to send them an animation demo for them to send you animation opportunities, but you need to have a commercial demo. The reason why is because that's how they make the majority of their money, is off of commercial bookings. So they want to make sure you can at least do that so they can send you commercial auditions. But, you know, so you can still choose other genres, but just know that you need to have that kind of foundation for commercial just in general. For agencies, we'll talk more about all that stuff. But that's one of the biggest ones, and it is one of the biggest money makers is commercials.
Yeah. Tom, are you tracking okay?
Absolutely, everything's good.
Okay, just want to check in.
What if we just checked in with him every minute? Tom, still good there? Good? Okay, great.
I think on the vein of kind of commercial versus animation, I do sort of want to touch on something because I do get questions as to like why we start with commercial. Commercial is all about who you are and being yourself. Animation is often about being someone else. You have to learn how to be yourself before you can learn to be someone else. So that's why we start with it.
Yeah, great way of putting it. Animation, video games, there are tons of opportunities, but majority for animation is out in California and
Texas.
Austin, Texas. Don't know why.
Because it's the headquarters for many dubbing companies.
I know, but I don't know why they chose Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably way cheaper than California. But that said, we still get opportunities here. And in fact, some local, Stephen is creating his own thing here. So hopefully more opportunities will come out.
Yeah, there's still opportunities here.
Yeah.
And we still get auditions, and you don't have to necessarily be, COVID wiped that open for us, which was a good thing because before they really did want you to be in person to direct you. And then when COVID forced everybody to have to direct virtually, then that kind of opened things up a lot more. And so we get a lot more animation and video game auditions now after COVID than we did before. Sorry.
But they mostly come through agents. So you will need an agent. You will need that commercial background. You can find some stuff on your own, but it's better to have agents representing you for these types of projects.
The next thing is e-learning. So I know that some of you guys mentioned, and that's a lot like longer form stuff. Now with e-learning, it is a little different because actually the majority of stuff that you can book through e-learning is actually offered through companies, like e-learning companies. So if you can get on a roster with e-learning companies, then that's really good, and especially if you're able to get on with a certain company, then they'll probably have you back to do updates and to do more stuff. I've gotten opportunities through my agent and through online casting sites for e-learning, but it is really good if you want that consistency. You do need to find the e-learning companies, and that's really easy to do on LinkedIn. So you can look there.
Promos and trailers, promos like for what we used. CW?
Yeah.
Coming up on the CW, trailers, you've all heard, especially if you're old school, Don LaFontaine, rest in peace, in the world, that stuff. It's all the fun stuff that, comes through. Steve
stands against him.
That's right. And if you end up taking Steve's class on Wednesday nights, he does a lot of trailers now, and his voice is perfect to it. He's just got this deep voice. Ironically, he teaches the class how to not do that, but he's fantastic at it. But yeah.
The next thing is documentary narration. So that's like it can be anything from like smaller documentaries or whatever. It can be nature documentaries, all kinds of stuff. Through that, you do get opportunities through agents, but that also is something that you can find sometimes on online casting sites, opportunities, or even LinkedIn or through like if you know people that work in the production company that are creating these documentaries, I've gotten opportunities just through like referrals, for documentaries. So that's an option.
And corporate narration as well. And the majority of that comes through
online casting sites, but also agent. I would say both.
Yeah.
Online casting.
I was going back and forth.
Sometimes they're referred to as industrials as well, but it's like anything that a company uses internally that's not going to be broadcast. So, and it could be anything. I mean, Coke does a lot of stuff where they do, I've done stuff where it's like tours for Coke, where it's like they open up a new office, and so they do this little tour and you narrate it. I did something for Marshalls this past week, which they were just talking about a campaign that they did, but it's all internal. It's not for broadcast. But
they also did Wonder to Breathe in the session.
They did it, yeah. That was interesting.
I think you're allowed to breathe.
Yeah.
They were literally asking, we're hearing your voice, hearing your breath.
Because I'm not text to speech.
Right.
Which is a great segue into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump ahead to that one. Text to speech. What is it? We all know it. I'm gonna let you do it because we did a great job.
Okay. So text to speech. Sometimes it's referred to as TPS, but that's like Siri, synthetic voices. So the biggest thing that I would say about that is be very careful as you're starting out in voiceover, because you're going to see opportunities pop up for TTS, and they usually don't spell it out. They'll just say TTS, especially on online casting sites, and they'll say like, we're looking for a voice actor. We're going to pay them $2,000, and you're like, $2,000? Hell, yeah. Wait, why did I say hell? I don't normally say hell. Anyway, sorry about that.
You're so exciting.
Anyway, but yeah, sign me up. That is not a good rate. And so just so you guys know, text to speech, if they use your voice, then they can, a lot of times, and the contracts are really shady these days, is they can use your voice in perpetuity for whatever they want. So say they get your voice, Helen Jr., and they create a synthetic voice, and they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to sell this voice to Ford for their commercial spots for $15 or whatever. Ford's like, yeah, I get her for $15. That's amazing. When they should have paid you $15,000. And then therefore, like if your voice is out there, a lot of times, especially for big brands, they have exclusivity. And so you would have to say, well, my voice is on a Ford commercial that's running nationally. Now I can't audition for any other car company. There can be a lot of issues with it. So all that to say, be careful with TTS jobs. And one of the things that I'll say to write down and then save it to your browser. It's called the GVAA Rate Guide, and it's Global Voice Actors Academy. But it's if you even just Google like the GVAA Rate Guide, because I think it's written out in their website, and then I bookmark it so I have it saved so I can easily access it. And they have everything broken down into categories. So if you see a TTS job or something like, well, actually they don't have TTS yet, they're working on it. But if you see something for an animation that's on online casting sites and you're like, what is the rate? I don't even know. You can go on there, click that, and see the rate for the animation, because everything is different depending on the different categories.
Sometimes they'll have things that you've never even thought of. Like I got an audition for a museum kiosk, and I've never done one before. GVA. It's like, oh, by the way, it's supposed to be this much. Cool, thanks.
And these are standard non-union rates for voiceover. So yeah, I think that just be careful with text to speech, and if there's anything that you see that you're like, I don't know about this, feel free to shoot us an email. We've tried to do like email newsletters talking about like red flags. I think there's a YouTube video that we did about red flags for any of those. Also, it said synthetic voice is another term for it. The other thing to just watch out for, like John made me aware that there's a company called 101 Soundboards, and they replicated my voice, put my headshot on there, did a full description on my voice, and people can use it as text to speech, so they can literally put in a text and it spits it out, Heidi Rue's voice. And they say Heidi Rue on there too. There's a lawyer that's working on it right now, and NAVA is another organization that you can write down. It's called NAVAvoices.org. And that's a National Association of Voice Actors. You can become a member, but there's also a lot of free resources on their website, including a contract you can use for clients if they're interested in using you for a TTS job or synthetic voice job.
Or even if it's a job you want to make sure it does not clone your voice.
Right.
It's called an AI writer.
Yes.
Is it silly to have your voiceover reel just out for anyone on SoundCloud?
SoundCloud is
No?
a little tricky. In general, no. The only reason I would hesitate with SoundCloud is because once it finishes playing yours, it may start playing someone else's, and they may like that voice better. So it's a little better to host it on your website. That way, after it's done playing, it just stops. So it's like a more nuanced thing about SoundCloud than your site. But starting out, SoundCloud is fine, but that's like a little more on the SEO side of things.
And it's hard because obviously they got my voice from somewhere, and my voice is all over the internet. But that's also part of my job, so I wouldn't hide it. That's how I get the work. So yeah, just be careful, and the more we can fight and do stuff, like if we can take down this website, that would be amazing. But then also NAV is working literally on Capitol Hill to try to get legislation passed that protects us and the voices. So hopefully more of that will be passed. And if you guys know of anybody that's in leadership in government, I'm sure you mention this to them.
Go back to the text to speech. Yeah. What you should get paid for that is anywhere between typically low end
20,000.
Yeah, 20 grand to 500 grand. We found out, and we didn't share this earlier today, but you might know. There's one that I almost booked. It was one of 1,000 that they chose. Then it became one of 500 that they chose. Then it was down to 60, and then it came down to me, another guy, and we figured out later, Brian, who's the normal instructor for here, we were one of 3 that was supposed to get. This would have been like $475,000 a year too, because they had to re-up. Oh my gosh, was I freaking out? And then Brian and I talked about this. We narrowed it down and found out, oh, you were up for that? I was up for that. Well, who's the third guy? He must have got it.
Yeah.
So we're like, crap. It was so close. Yeah. So close. But all I have to say, if you have that opportunity, do your due diligence and try not to get loud. 15,000 is a lot of money, but it's not what you're supposed to get paid. And if you do have the opportunity, somebody is interested in you, you can also try and bring that work to an agent and just say, hey, I've got this possibility. It looks like they really, really want me. Would you negotiate? That's a great way to get an agent too. So
you got to do the math out too. If the contract's not good and they're saying they're going to use it forever and not pay any sort of residual or re-upping, is your career worth $15,000? Is the rest of your life worth $15,000? Is it worth $2? Is it worth $500? If it prevents you from ever working again, what's the number? Is there a number?
Yeah. Anybody ever watch foreign films? In English?
Yeah. Stuff though.
So make it better. You can be responsible for making it better.
Well, that's the next genre.
Yeah, I'm sorry, brain. I don't know what you're talking about. So as I love to hear, especially when watching horror films, I love to hear like their responses to certain things and how they say certain things, and when it's dubbed, it makes it seem like gimmicky or just not something. But this is something. But I can do something else.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm looking at the action movements and all that stuff, so I have to be.
Super quick
And then I learned the language.
Crispin Freeman is a fairly well-known voice actor. He got his start in voice acting. He has his background in opera, so obviously trained actor, comes from an arts family. he, or a patron of the arts, but anyway, he was an opera performer. There was a guy in opera, he was addicted to anime. And this is back in like the late 80s, early 90s when they were bad. The dubs were rough. It was like the fan versions were better than the real ones. And so he was watching them in the original, and he's a student of Japanese, and like it now teaches, he's a professor of mythology. Anyway, but one of his castmates saw him watching an anime and was like, "Oh, you like that?" "Yeah." "Oh, well, I'm in one of them. We're always looking for new actors. Like, do you want to do?" He's like, "No, they're terrible. No way I'm gonna sign up to do that." And he sat on it overnight. He's like, "Yeah, but I could make it better. I can bring a better acting, a better performance, and make the dub better. I can make the dub that I want to hear. Oh, well, okay, hang on, let's do it." And now he's this major voice in anime because he had that mental shift of like, I can be responsible for making it better. So I always like to tell that story.
Sorry, they're still bad.
They were.
They are, but I can't stand to watch anime in dubbed version.
Well, I guess we know who's not going in dubbing.
Yeah.
I can torture other people. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing is tours, the museum tours. Oh my gosh, you just did one recently.
We'll get to the pay to play sites, but there's one called Bodalgo that I booked one. He's in Germany. It's Amen. Anyway, super nice guy, but they get usually European stuff anywhere in Europe. But this was for a German. I can't remember the exact space, but it pays fairly well for that. I think it was 700. So you can get a good amount for just a one-off type stuff.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like 700 a year, or
Nope.
however many times. How is it?
Just once.
700, just once.
Different genres will pay, so you can get residuals, like commercials. If you get a commercial gig and it's union, then you'll get residuals. I thank the Lord for Hershey's Nuggets, because that chocolate has gotten us so much.
Covered some Christmas gifts.
Yes, a little bit. But then again, I'm the voice of Warby Parker, or was, but it was not union. Had it been union, I'd have bought that DoubleTree. So it just depends.
And tours, a lot of times that is through online casting sites. I mean, you'll see some every once in a while through agents, but most of the time it's through online casting sites. You want me to do radio?
No, I'll do it. Radio imaging. So we've got a guy. We know a guy. Do you guys know what radio imaging is?
Where's
No.
the like picture you?
Good tips. Great tips.
This morning on the Burt Show, that type of stuff.
You're listening to 99X.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that called again?
Radio imaging.
Imaging?
Yes.
Imaging.
I've done a little bit, but Heidi's done more than I have. And it used to be, they have it so that it's that type of voice. It's cool. It's whatever. But now it's kind of morphing into just conversational. This morning on the Burt Show, it's just natural. But they have certain people to reflect the brand of the radio station. So Q100 has a different thing than thank you. I don't listen to radio. I haven't listened to radio in ages. So, but every different station has a different target audience, so they cater to that target audience and just reflect voice back. And Adam Schneider is one of our coaches. He also leads a radio imaging workshop to teach you how to do all this stuff. But the cool thing about radio imaging is that they put you on a retainer for a month, so you get a certain amount a month that can either be 300,
Usually, yeah,
250 to depending on how much work they have. Could be up to 1,000, but they might send you one sheet of work a month, or they could send you whatever your contract says that they can do. And it's not like, it could be like this. Well, it has to be like 12 font, double space between. They can't just have it 8 font, and single space. It's a certain amount per page that you have to do every month. But it could be a little bit more if it's in the contract, but mostly less. Or it could be less.
I would rather John talk about anime.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that good at the radio.
But we only have a certain time.
Yes, right.
Not hours.
Okay, fine. Well then we'll
I'm
just
gonna
skip
go to the
then.
bathroom.
So yeah, anime obviously dubbing and anime it just keeps growing in popularity. The difficult thing with anime is there's a bit of a push against pushing shows union. A lot of the production companies want to keep it non-union, which means they don't have to pay certain minimums. It does not, on the whole, pay super well. But if you're a fan of it and you enjoy consuming it, it can be really rewarding to be in these projects. What a lot of people that work heavily in anime do is what they don't make on the project itself, they make up for on a convention circuit. So then you're really building up your personal branding. You start making a circuit of conventions you do for playing certain characters. Signings and autographs sort of become the way you make up for the lack of actual pay for the job you make up for via your fans. So
Very lucrative too.
it can be very lucrative, and you know these shows, a lot of them 11, 12, 25 seasons. So if you're cast as one of those characters, like it can keep paying, even if it's not good, it's consistent. But it definitely behooves you to be a multi-voiced actor, having a lot of character voices that you have really dialed in control over, because a lot of people call it acting karaoke, because you're literally matching someone else's performance, and you then mimic that in your character voice with whatever dub language you're working. But you really are watching and listening to someone else make choices, and then how do you reflect that choice back? So it's a very specific skill set, and I think people are often surprised at how little it generally pays. But that said, it can be really rewarding if you like those stories.
See, you did a much better job than I would have. The next thing is IVR, which is interactive voice response. So it's like when you call AT&T and you get a recording. That's what it is now. I will say that is an area that AI voices have definitely taken over. But that doesn't mean there's still opportunities out there for it. The best way to get jobs, if that's something that you're interested in, is to look for some of the companies that specifically do it. We've gotten a couple of their agents, but it's because we booked their commercial campaigns. So Mike's voice is on like Warby Parker's phone system. Mine is on Red phones. But then I've also booked a lot of that stuff through like just personal relationships, and they recommended me to places, and then companies, heard about me, and then, from there on. So there's still some opportunities.
Anybody listen to audiobooks?
Oh,
It's not the same thing as phone trees, or is that something different?
Nope.
That's a
Yeah. It'll just say IVR, like if you're looking at rates and stuff like that, or a lot of times with if it's on an online casting site, just know that that's what it is.
Audiobook people?
It's
Audio
40
drama
minutes
people?
here.
Anyone listen to audio dramas? Yeah, nice.
Nice, yeah. Tom, are you an audiobook or audio drama person?
I'd say definitely more audiobook.
Cool.
Nice, yeah. It's a great genre. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint when you record. Why I don't do it is because I'm a very slow reader, and you have to read the book before you record the book, which is a pain.
It's called pre-read.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So, Mike, we have a good friend that is an audiobook producer in LA, and she's like, Mike, we need more guys in the like erotic like books or whatever. And so Mike's like, okay. So she says, here's the book that you need to read, and we'll do sample. So he's like, okay, sits there. We go on a long road trip. Mike hands the book to me and goes, here, read this to me as I'm driving. And I was like, no, it does not work like that, mister. So you have to read it yourself, and then
I was driving.
I was like,
It's a good trade-off. Yeah, and then I realized I did have something that I read for, and it just took me way too long. So I know short form, the sprints are my jam for animation and video games. So, but all that to say, if you don't mind reading the book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, fiction, if you're good at characters with different voices and whatnot, that's a great area for just get the acting out. I mean, it can be phenomenal. John's a big audiobook guy. How many have you done? So in the 3 years, he's done a lot since he's
Probably close to 200 at this point.
this is
Wow.
Because of graphic audio. So I work with a company, Graphic Audio. They do audio dramas, but they're one-to-one adaptations of books. So there's still a narrator. So it's kind of unique in the audio drama world. But I'm on their roster, and they put out a lot of books, and so it they've been very consistent. There's a lot of them.
There's also, I forgot to mention this in the earlier session, sorry guys. But there is a local audiobook production house, and it's called JMM, or John Marshall Media. And that's just great to know. We do have an audiobook class if that's something that you want to go into. Now, if you want to go into audiobooks, you don't necessarily have to have like a commercial demo or anything like that. That's kind of separate. A lot of times they'll be getting on with rosters like JMM or Penguin Random House, or ACX is the other place where you can audition for books, or like John with the graphic novel.
Graphic audio.
Graphic audio, sorry. That's a different thing, graphic novels. Anyway, so yes, so that's a kind of a totally different thing, but we do have a local production house that's great. They put out some good books.
And I do kind of want to add one little tidbit for the audiobook world is there are so many books that need narrators. There will never be more narrators than books, ever. So it is a nice space to work in if you get comfortable with long form, because it is significantly less competitive and less sought after than commercial, video games, animation. Basically every other genre, it's significantly less competitive to the point where if you're on a roster, a lot of times it's just a direct offer. Hey, do you want to read this? We'll pay you SAG scale. That's often the case with books, so it will also qualify you for the actors in the room. You can qualify for your insurance via audiobooks. So if you earn a certain income, you've done enough books, and you're not booking on camera enough for the year, books are a good way to kind of hit your requirement and qualify.
It's $1 billion industry.
And growing.
And growing.
It's
Yeah.
because incentive to read.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been holding off until the funniest. Yeah.
Is it because they have fun and it's exhausting to walk?
Yeah. It also, for people that do it as their main source of income, it takes all of their time. So they don't have time to do the commercials that are like the quick injection of cash, so to speak. So it's just a different way of working that I don't know. It's almost like people kind of sleep on it. But it is, some people just try it and aren't really like, it's not for me. Some people try commercial and you're like, yeah, but I'd rather just read a book. I like that world better. So, just try it out. Try all of these genres out and just find where you fit.
With the audiobook, because I know you have to read, and then is there like a timeline?
Yeah, you're given a due date, so you kind of know. Often you're given the book ahead of time. It might not be the final draft. It might just be an earlier version, just so you can get started. If it's fiction, so you can get started making your choices for characters, and just understanding where the story's going, so like, oh, this is where I need to take the audience. Also, on the last page, it says he said with his Irish accent, and you've been not doing an Irish accent the whole time. It's important to know that before you start the book, and some people have been caught out with that before. So yeah, do the pre-read.
Don't you have to do all the editing and stuff as you go along? You have to know a lot of stuff about.
Yeah, there are some unique engineering techniques that you'll use, and it's a little different from commercial auditions in that sense, but it is sort of its own world. But really, once you get a system down, it can become just routine, just like anything else.
And it also depends. So like with JMM, because they're here, like a lot of times if you don't have a good home studio, you can actually go to record the book there. And so you'll have an engineer that doesn't punch and roll. You just read the book. Or you just, like I've done books for them and I just record from my home studio too. And then I just send them the raw files and we edit it. So it just depends, from case to case.
What's the pay scale for the audiobooks?
I was just gonna get to that. Yeah. Well, I can't remember.
It's a little bit of a sliding scale. Typically, SAG standard right now is around, like, I think it's $2.35 a finished hour.
I
And
think
it's
it may
per,
go up a little bit this
yeah,
year.
I think it's due to go up. So it's per finished hour is the important phrase in that. Books are paid by the final record time, not how long you took to work on it. And they don't start paying you just for your pre-read. You only get paid by that final runtime after it's been edited. But, you know, I feel like on average, depending on the length of the book, typically each book's around, you know, $1,500 to $3,000. If it's a really long book, obviously it'd be more. But that seems to be, at least for the books that I do, around the rate.
And I know Kurt's the other one who does the audiobook class that we have. He does that full time. But again, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
How many days would it take you to record a book and make that amount of money?
Depends. I mean, and you get faster as you do more of them without, you know, you're not speed reading. And it's, you often for books read slower than you think you should. But typically could be about a week, maybe a little less, depending on how, if it's nonfiction, I can do them faster because I'm not tracking characters and stuff. But yeah, around a week, depending on what else I have on my plate.
It also depends on your, you know, how tired you get. So like, because a lot of times with JMM, they're not going to schedule you for more than 4 hours to come to record because you just get tired. So that has to, yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to equate my hours to see.
A lot of times they say on average it takes people 2 hours to record one finished hour, but it just depends on your reading style.
And that's someone that's been doing has already done a few books. You work up to that finished ratio. So audiobook narrators often track that ratio for that exact purpose. Starting out, I always say like generally treat it like a 10 to 1 ratio. 10 hours for every finished hour. Just way overshoot it, so you give yourself way more time because you may end up restarting it. But eventually you're trying to work to that 2 to 1 ratio.
Any more questions on audiobooks? Okay, next up, toys, games, apps. There's a lot of work to be had with toys, games, and apps. So the toys, I mean, you go into I was getting there.
I'm sorry.
It was kind of funny. So you walk into Target, you go down the plush toy aisle, and you pull the string. That's somebody's voice. Somebody got paid for it. Somebody got paid for that. And got a decent amount. Different apps, games as well. I mean, it's growing and growing. I don't know about but it's just growing every year.
And a lot of times with that stuff, you can actually find some of these auditions on online casting sites for apps, especially. Toys, sometimes they do cast either through agents or they have their own roster.
I have a question about that. If you have an agent, but you find it on a site like that, does your agent still get a cut?
Not if,
you're not going through them.
Yeah.
If they're if you have it negotiated that they get a cut of everything, yeah.
Right. Okay.
But on paper, no, they should.
Now, if you have a manager of it,
yes,
that's another.
Okay.
That's another thing.
And then live announce is another genre, and that's like they also call it like voice of God, VOG. Sometimes it'll be said just VOG. And that can either be done in person, literally at the event, or I've also done some that were virtual. So they did a big conference, like a big mortgage conference, where it was a big studio, and I was like the voice of God for that conference, but I just did it virtually. So I'm like over in this like corner, whatever. So, and sometimes those come through. Those really you can find in a lot of places, online casting sites, agents, even just like referrals.
And finally, does anybody know what looping is?
Yeah.
I does. It's back time.
Yeah.
So yes. So whenever you're watching a movie or a TV show and you see a restaurant scene, you hear all the background stuff. Those are actors who went in front of the microphone, typically, unless they didn't, they didn't get it at where they shot. Those are actors. There's a microphone and like a big old studio. One microphone in the middle. There's a bunch of probably 10 actors who are going around doing different conversations. So it'll be like literally looping around and talking. As soon as they get in front of the microphone again, they have their line. And the TV or the monitor is off to the side, so they're watching it. And it comes their time. Gosh, I keep leave, honey. Did you pick up the kids?
No,
And-
you were going to pick up.
Right. We
Is
already
everyone
had this
has that order number
conversation.
7?
What? You know, it's that sort of thing. But the mic,
Sounds so good.
and it's constant, and you have to be improv. It's very improv heavy because it can't be just random stuff, you know, specific to different scenes or whatnot. If it's like a tourist group, you're not going to be calling out, you know, we got a ham order over here. It's got to match, you know. But it's super fun and it's very clicky. A lot of this, they were trying to get a lot of it going here, but it's still, the majority is off in LA that they do it in the studios there. Once these companies, they have their groups and they have the people that they trust, and it's very hard to break in. But if you can break in, it's very lucrative because you're only working 4 hours, but you're getting a full day rate in SAG scale, plus you get residuals. So it's a great job if you can get it.
Okay, let's talk about the different areas that you get work. How do you get the work from these different areas? Now, one of the things about voiceover is what's great about it is you can do it part-time. And if this is something that you just want to do as a side hustle or to supplement, if you are an on-camera actor or do something else, that's something you can supplement your income from, and that's great. But then also, if you want to create a full-time career out of it, you can also do that. If you do want a full-time career, we definitely would say you need to be actively pursuing all of these 4 different ways of how you get the work. Because the more opportunities you have, the greater chance you're going to book those, the greater chance you're going to be able to create that income that you want every year. So the first one is obviously agents. Now, one thing that's different about voiceover, that's different from on-camera stuff, is with on-camera stuff, you're only going to probably have one one on-camera agent, right? They're not going to want you to have multiple ones. But with voiceover, that's different. Mike and I have like 7 voiceover agents plus a manager. So we try and have them in different regions of the country. So we're represented because a lot of times those different regions will have relationships with local production companies that are there. And because voiceover, you can do it from anywhere. And you want to make sure that you kind of are able to have all those agents. It takes some time, so don't get overwhelmed by that at all. But that is just one way that you can get some of those opportunities. Plus, the more agents that you have, the more audition opportunities that you have, and the better chance, obviously, that you can book something and get that money. The second thing is, I will let Mike handle it. Sorry.
So you're fine. Online casting sites, they're called. We also call them pay-to-plays, P2Ps for short. We get.
And why are they called?
Yes. Because they're going to charge you a certain amount for like a yearly membership. Some of them offer month to month. And then you get opportunities. So you pay to play. And then once you audition and if you book, then you'll get paid. It's just another way to get more opportunities outside of agents, especially because some people just do it off of pay-to-plays. I think we have a couple friends that just do voices or Voice123. That's one of them, voice123.com. They have different tiers that you can sign up for, and you'll get certain preferential treatment, I think. Yeah, the more you pay.
So generally for Voice123, the more you pay, the sooner you see the audition. By the time, say you're paying for the middle tier, everyone at the top paying the most amount of money has seen that audition and passed or didn't book it by the time it gets down to you, or chose not to audition. So the more you pay, the sooner you see it, but it can get really expensive, so just know that.
And if Voice123 is a place that you want to try it out, we do have a 15% off discount code. Those are generally in all of our email newsletters and the show notes of our podcast and all that stuff. So just FYI. We do love Voice123 because I know the CEO very well. Voice123, they're very pro voice talent. But we are an affiliate with them, so we always disclose that. That's the case.
Voices.com is another pay-to-play site. They are not as talent-friendly. They have a business model where they charge the client bringing the voiceover work in, and then they also have the talent. They charge the talent for having a place on their platform. But then, with any job that's posted, they're taking a cut of what you book. So you're not only paying for the
They
membership.
can get 3 ways.
Yeah, and also punish you. They will kick you off if you try to book it off the site.
Yes. Yeah, I emailed somebody or put my email address in the notes, and they were like that with calling me up. I was like, oh,
They're probably looking for the app symbol.
yeah, totally. Totally forgot about it. I was like, oh, sorry, okay. Won't do that again.
Now,
There's other ways around it. Yeah.
with any pay to play, I do want to say you have to be a very diligent steward of your career. This is where like that self-employed concept comes in, and use that GVAA rate guide, because a lot of times clients don't know how much to charge. So they'll put either give me a quote and you need a frame of reference to provide that quote, or it'll be something that's way, way overshooting and you can come in with an appropriate amount, or more typically way, way undervalued and you can come in with an appropriate amount. So you have to be very diligent about being a good steward of your career for those sites. You don't have an agent looking out for you.
Yes.
So when you mentioned that the agent is not looking out for you from a pay-to-play perspective, how is that? Isn't there some type of disparity between like your agent, if you're paying to play and the work that they get you, is that different work? I mean,
It's
how
different,
is it
yeah.
fair? How in the global aspect of getting jobs, if you're paying to play, are they like a two-way, like a recruiting agency where they recruit and
Right.
So
let me break it down. So agents are different from the pay to play sites.
right.
So you're doing this on your own. You don't have to worry about paying an agent off of this stuff. They don't represent you over here. They only represent you with what they bring you. If you were to book something.
Yeah, they only make money when you make money.
Right.
So in terms of the work though, this pay to play, like if you get, because what I picked up on was like the more you pay, the more work you're apt to get. Maybe?
Not necessarily.
Opportunities.
Opportunities,
Yes.
right?
You're seeing the
Auditions.
auditions faster.
Right.
So in that space, it's all the same because even with the agent, you have to get through an audition, right? So if you pay to play, you pay to get an audition, but aren't you running into some of the same work, some of the same offers, or
Not typically.
okay?
And you're not paying an agent. The only time you pay an agent is
When you
book
get work, yeah.
something. Yes.
Yeah. So
When you
that's
book.
why I was
Yeah,
just
when you
trying
book.
to, yeah.
Not for the audition. So
Okay.
you don't pay an agent to get an audition. You would pay a pay to get an audition.
Right.
So what I was just trying to see how that works with pay to play for an audition. An agent calls you about an audition. Is all this work? Is it enough? I mean, how is you're paying for this service and you have this pool of work. So how are we picking jobs and auditions from a pay to play? Then your agent gets this work. Then you're looking on your own, and then we're going to talk about 2 other ways to get work. So
You build your own career with a mix of all of these. So if you get to a point where you're getting so many auditions from your agents that you don't need to spend as much time on pay to play, great. Or you don't have agents and you're spending most of your time on pay to plays, great. That's fine. How you build your career is all fine.
And it's going to be different type of work. So you know how we talked about like where you get certain stuff from certain places like agents or online casting sites. Agents are always going to have. They're going to have the national spots. They're going to have the higher quality of auditions and opportunities. So it is kind of like a tier thing. But with the online casting sites, you'll still get opportunities for different stuff. It's probably not going to be on the same tier, and then you're not under the same protection. So there's some give and takes between everything. But you can also, like John said, create the career that you want from it. So, and it also kind of depends on your availability. So if somebody's like, look, I work so much, or my schedule is so crazy, the online casting sites work best for me because I know, okay, you know what? The weekends are my time to audition for online casting sites. So I will take whatever time I have and whatever opportunities come on that Saturday, that's what I'll audition for. Because I can't necessarily give an agent my availability during the week because it's so spotty. Does that make sense? It's just ways to kind of piece together to fit the career to where you're at, and where you want to be.
And that's what we encourage. We encourage you to think of this as a business because it is your voiceover business, just like it would be for acting. And like us, we combine it all. So build your business the way you want to, from the genre to whether you want to do the pay to plays, whether you just want to focus on agents. There's a time, like for the majority of my career, I didn't have paid plays. I just did it through my agents, and thank God I've booked. Able to create a great life through it. Now I'm doing both. I was going to say I'm on both, but I'm mostly just doing the auditions coming through the agent because we've got too much going on. But that said, you can create it around what you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to voices.com too, the other thing to watch out for with them, the rates are not typically, a lot of them aren't up to the non-union specs on there. And so you're not getting as much as you should get. And they also say a lot of time in perpetuity. And that was, we mentioned it earlier last year at Voiceover Atlanta, the big old voiceover conference that's here every year. The Voices CEO was up on stage, and there was some calling out of, it got heated, got spicy, I think we said, because talent are trying to protect themselves, and the Voices guy he's got a brand to protect himself, so it got a little weird. So just be careful to if you check it out. Bodalgo, BODALGO.com, BODALGO.com. That's Armin. He's in Germany. It's mostly European stuff that happens, but they do have some United States stuff that comes through. But there's a lot of different countries that need an English-speaking voice. BioPlanet. That's another one. BioPlanet.com.
I know that some of the stuff that we're talking about is cautionary tales for online casting, but it's also been great. I booked something for Voice 123 just last week. Great client, great session, paid industry standard rates, and now he's a client for life. So there's some really good stuff that comes from it. We just say all this stuff to just, especially at the beginning of your career, just to kind of be aware of. Because you are at the beginning, you're still learning all this stuff. And so I think it's really good to be able to still even get on these sites because it gives you practice. It may take you a minute to get on with an agent, but this gives you practice, and that's great because the application of it is so.
And two, if some of this stuff does get confusing and you run into it afterwards, now that you've been in the workshop, feel free to email us. We're always here, and we'll answer you as soon as possible and try to make that available. And even if you take classes with us, ask your instructor. They're working professionals. They can help you as well. So we just want you to know you have that support here.
Then the other area to get work is company or studio roster. So like when we were talking about e-learning companies getting on their roster, then also studios, even like Atlanta Voiceover Studio, we have a roster because sometimes we get, not all the time, but we get clients reach out and ask for voices. And so we like to send out auditions to people. How you do that is just through contacting people, but you can even look online and say like production or recording studios, Atlanta. I would stick with like one city. It'll pull up a bunch of them. If you email them and just say, hey, do you have a roster? And if so, can I send you my demo for consideration for the roster? And then they'll send you stuff every once in a while. So the more of those you can get on is great because they'll just randomly send you an audition. You're like, oh, this is awesome. And you don't have to pay an agent fee or anything. So.
And then finally, you can do it just through getting your own work. So if you're on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a great way to get work. Cold emails, either to companies, but mostly people that you know. Everybody has a sphere of influence here that no other talent does, business-wise and otherwise. People you run into, there's always somebody to contact. It could just be in a conversation. We had a friend who, whenever they went on vacation, they would contact a company or like a restaurant that they enjoy going to and just say, hey, who does your voiceover for your commercials? Sometimes it's nobody, we don't do that. And other times it's like, oh, well, we hire out this and that. And they become a voice of it just because they were already a fan, they're on vacation. Now they can write out the trip because they were
Business related now.
Business related, yeah. Or at least part of the trip. So
don't cheat on your taxes, folks.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about some of the building blocks for creating a voiceover career. So the first thing is obviously you guys are here and it's training. And while I wish that it could just be this intro and then you guys be on your way, there definitely needs to be more training than just an intro workshop. you really need to be able to apply some of these techniques. And so whether you stay with Atlanta Voiceover Studio or you find somewhere else to take the training, that's totally fine. But we really encourage if this is something that you want to do, is to pursue training, specifically some commercial training, unless you want to focus on genres that don't necessarily need that commercial training, like audiobooks. Even with e-learning, you could probably get on with some company rosters and not have to worry about agents and stuff. But the commercial training is so great. I don't know if I said this, but the reason why we do commercial training is to I'm sorry, guys.
Because we talked about how commercial was about you.
That's right. Okay. Thank you. Gosh, if I could just have you in my pocket every day as I went to.
Because you were saying that for many of these, they want the commercial demo.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But some people have come through and they figure out, oh, I really want to do audiobooks, and then they took Kurt's audiobook class and they're off and running.
Yeah.
I still can't believe this guy. I mean, has it been 3 years since you started? Is it really 3 years? Oh my gosh. So it's only been 3 years that he's been off and running. And how long have you been full time? 3 years. Oh, the full 3 years. Yeah. Oh,
That's when I left management.
What is it?
Yeah. Time, man.
I know. Seriously. It's going quicker. Getting older. Amen. Oh, we're down to demos. Yeah, let's. Y'all know. I didn't realize we were down that far. Are you guys? Are you familiar with demos? Like when we say commercial, okay, Helen Jr. is. Helen Senior.
I have a commercial demo.
You already do. Okay, great. So would you do yours? If you're asking, do you remember?
This guy in LA. What was his name? I think he was in Georgia. We did it over there. No, wait, he was in LA. Yeah. Right. No, I don't remember his name.
Okay.
I can look it up.
No, you're good. I was just
fine.
curious. There's a couple of staples of the industry that J. Michael Collins.
I don't remember his name, but it's
All
in my
good.
email.
Don't worry about it.
Used to be one of those guys.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Stacy and Chuck.
Chuck Duran.
Chuck Duran.
That's right. So demos, it's basically a compilation what we focus on for commercial. It's just 1 minute to 1:15 of commercial spots that you can do, showcasing your range as a voiceover talent. We do a couple different demos here, but that's the one that we specifically focus on because, again, to send it to agents, that's what they need.
And that's several different types of commercials all strung together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just short snippets just to showcase your range. It's almost like a on-camera actress's demo reel showcasing what they booked. But we have a few that we can play for you guys just as an example.
So I would just share screen and sound.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
So we're just going to play it off of that, but we have to share it.
Oh, gotcha.
Shoot, I'm
Here,
sorry.
here.
Somebody with
I gotcha.
somebody with better eyesight.
I don't know if my eyes are necessarily better. But
So we'll play a couple spots. I'm not sure which one we're going to start with, but
whatever you want.
let's start with John's. We'll do because we ended up doing John's. This is all stuff. Now he's booked work that he could actually change out on his demo, but this is what's called a spec demo, speculative demo. It's specific spots geared to him, his personality, what he likes, as far as different companies that we showcased in there, and it just showcases his range. So as you listen through it, it's not only the music that changes. You don't want just a demo of you talking and then different music changes. We need to hear your range. We need to hear what you can do, friendly, conversational. Can you be sincere? Can you be authentic? And you'll hear that in some of John's.
You can have anything you want in life, if you dress for it. But you don't need to spend a fortune. The Tie Bar has luxury dress shirts and pants as low as $3. Shop the Tie Bar online. Check out Nick.com for new games for your phone or tablet. Test your ninja skills with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Portal Power. Solve mysteries with Henry Danger Crime War. And challenge yourself with Super Brawl. Nick.com. New games added every week. Work from home? Upgrade your internet with Optimum. Get 300 meg for just $39.99 a month. And with up to 1 gig, Upgrade for even more speed and get price for life. Optimum.com. Need a snack that satisfies? Hot Pockets are made with 100% real cheese, 10 grams of protein, and premium meats. Plus, you can have anything you want in life if you dress for it. Real cheese, 10 grams of protein, and premium meats. Plus, they're ready in minutes. Delicious, satisfying, fast. Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets!
Introducing the new Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. From high-resolution stills to 4K video, the Mark IV is poised to deliver phenomenal results. Canon. See impossible. 13 million kids will be bullied in the US this year. But that can change. TheBullyProject.com has tools and resources for anyone who wants to take a stand. Together, we can inspire change.
Can you imagine that last one as a announcer? Bully.com. We're helping people stop getting bullied.
Together, we can inspire change.
That's right. So you see how he's got a different range on there, showcasing it. And it's great for an agent. Oh, wow, this guy's he can do it all. You want to put you want to showcase everything that he can do in a short amount of time, because agents have a very limited amount of time, so they can know whether they're going to take you on within the first 5 seconds. It's that competitive. And you need to have it professionally done. Do it with us. Do it elsewhere. Do your due diligence. We'll help you find, give you those specs on what to look for. But just make sure that you do your due diligence and get it done well, because you just have to put your best foot forward as you're reaching out to agents, because they can sniff what's not there. This next person is Lauren Buyoli. She's going to be actually on a new soap that's out called, what is it again? Beyond the Gates. Yeah. But she ended up doing this a couple of years ago, and hers is a mix. She actually, one of her favorite restaurants is Cracker Barrel. And she was elated when she booked Cracker Barrel through her agent. I mean, she was giddy because she loves it that much. It's so crazy. I was like, is she legit? And he's like, oh, she loves that place. So her commercial demo is a mixture. So she's got that on the front, but then the rest might be tailored to her strengths, as well as her products that she uses. So.
At Cracker Barrel, we're cooking up warm feelings of home this season with country fried turkey, hand-breaded, fried till crispy, and topped with holiday herbed gravy. Our take on a festive favorite is back, and it's only at Cracker Barrel. So come on home for the holidays. Come on home to Cracker Barrel. Now you see it, now it's smooth. Soma's new Vanishing 360 bra. The first and only bra that's smooth from every angle. Soma. Presenting Down There Care. Down there because you've gotten a spin class, shuttled the kids to school, killed the conference call, all in your workout clothes. Cottonelle flushable wipes. In every business, there's people and there's technology. But how do you align them together to move faster, drive innovation, and seize opportunity? Introducing the Smart Sheet platform, designed to do just that. How to live a fabulous, flawless life. Step 1, believe life's a giant red carpet. Strut your stuff, honey. 2, get yourself a Pomeranian named Marilyn. Trust me. 3, never let your stank out. Lume deodorant will never let you down. And it's natural, just like your wrinkle-free forehead. For all the cheering fans, the sprinkle shakers, thought makers, and the cold haters, whatever you give, however you gather, we're thinking of you. Target.
So again, it showcases her range, and I mean, she's just a fantastic talent.
It's really interesting how some of them are so subtle, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, as you start out, you have the draw picture and you can be good, but then as the longer you get in, you're kind of like just doing on camera acting, you get to find stuff, and it's like, oh, this makes this person excellent. You step in the booth, oh, they're able to take direction like that, just off of, I need it to sound more orange. I know what that means. Whatever that is. Brian actually had that direction at some point, and he's like, okay. Yeah.
One of the things I want to just piggyback on the demos is that a lot of times people, they want to jump into the demos immediately before the training. And so we really recommend that you get that training, but you're just by saying that, you're like, well, what am I training for? When do I know when I'm ready for that? And so we spelled it out. So in your folder, there's like how to know when you're ready for a demo. We broke it down into, okay, if you can do these things, that's when you know that you're ready for a demo. And how we got to all that is because our goal is that once you get a demo, it's good enough to be able to send to agents, but also if you book a job, that then in that booked session, you can do everything that you will need to do to give them a great. So again, our goal is to do things to help your career and not hurt it. So that just helps you kind of give a little bit more framework to that. So I just want to mention that. The other thing as far as a building block for your career that you need these days is a home studio. And sometimes that can be a really tricky thing for people. They're like, I'm not techie. But we have great resources for you. There's a guy named Dan Friedman that does virtual consultations. So if you are like, I don't know if I have a closet in my space that could work as a studio, you can show him, okay, this is what I got. And he'll say, okay, great. This is what you need to get. You need to get some bass traps there or whatever. He will tell you exactly what you need to do to be able to treat that room so it sounds good. And then again, we gave you that home studio pamphlet in there. That just kind of gives you a mental picture of all the things that you need to create like a good home studio. The other aspect of home studio is learning editing software that's called a DAW. A lot of times, a DAW, D-A-W.
Yeah, digital audio workstation.
And we have 2 classes, learn Adobe Audition and learn Audacity, that are great to be able to learn those 2. Audacity is free. Adobe Audition is like a monthly subscription. I think it's around $30 or so.
Sorry, the class costs a certain amount. The actual
software.
Software.
Yes.
Audacity is free. You
Yes.
can just download that for Mac or PC. Yeah.
And the reason why we offer those is because those are kind of 2 of the standard ones that most people use for audition.
And I want to highlight too, what you're expected to do as a talent is very different than what an engineer is expected to do.
Yes.
All you need to be able to do at the end of the day is record yourself and make sure that you can have multiple takes on the same file. If you can do that, that's probably the most bare bones minimum requirement. As long as you can do that, you're probably fine. There, again, audiobooks have their own requirements, but for the most part, for commercial world, you can make sure that two takes are on the same file. Great.
It's more so that you can also just send some clear, clean audio. So that's why we talk about even like your space, that it is important to have a good space that you have to set up. But we got you guys.
And I will say, do not, unless you're familiar with tech, do not go out after this class and buy a bunch of stuff. Hold off. If you're going to be training, train first, because you're going to be learning things in the classes that are going to be like, oh, I was going to buy this, but I really don't need this. Oh, I was going to get a 2-inch foam off of Amazon. I just learned that that stuff is crap. Don't do it. And side note to that, your sound absorption panels like these, acoustic panels, those are the main things that you're going to want to have eventually. Something like that. What about what? Oh no.
Yeah. It's just not as effective.
That's why when the time comes, get with somebody like Dan, who's the home studio guy for I think it's $75. He can help you figure out everything in one fell swoop and save you a ton of money, so that you're not just going overboard with it. Other thing about building blocks, again from the top. This is all not meant to be done in one day. Do it incrementally. Have your list of things to do. This is the easiest way to do it. But you're creating a business. You're a marketer for yourself. You're possibly a website builder, or at least manager, knowing who you have to contact to get that website going. Your social media. Set up something for social media. LinkedIn that shows what you're doing professionally in the voiceover realm. Any business classes that may come up that might help you organize it. You need to figure out taxes. This all comes down the road. It's just something to keep your mind on, but it's progressive, I guess is the way.
Okay, we're about to get into the script, so we want to talk about the foundation of the technique that we're learning. So there are 3 things. connection, pause, and communicate. Which are kind of our big headers. So I'm going to start off with the connection. Now, one of the biggest things, especially with commercials, is that you want to make the other person that's listening to that commercial feel like you're talking just to them. I'm just talking to Jen if I'm talking about like a Coca-Cola product and I'm, doing a script for it. And so how do you do that? One of the best ways to do that is to choose someone that you know, that you have a personal, close relationship with. It's very specific to talk to when you're doing the script. So, for instance, one of the people that I use, actually Mike does not work, honestly. I think it's like we're too familiar with each other. But is one of my best friends, Jenny. It's one of my best friends, Jenny. So I know that I've got such a close relationship with her. We've been through so much. I could talk to her about anything. And basically, it's like, who could you imagine right in front of your face, standing here, that would be really easy to talk to and just feel comfortable with. So you can try different people, even in the booth today when we work on the scripts, but it's really important to have that one person to talk to. Now, really quick, I want to do, let's see.
There's a connection, pause, and
communication. We'll talk more about specifics. So, can I have one volunteer? Okay, Camille, right? Okay, Camille, I know you may have to like get up or move your chair around, but can you read through that subway spot real quick?
Should I sit or stand?
You can do whatever you want. Oh, read it out loud.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was making sure I could find out. I was going to. I just wanted to.
I didn't specify.
Instructions unclear. And I can start at they. They say money can't buy happiness. Yet every day, $4.99 buys you a foot-long Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, spicy Italian, and more. Guess what? There's happiness. Subway.
Okay, nice. So once you do again, this time say $4.99. It'll just help you to go through it a little faster. Yeah. But now I want you to choose somebody personal to talk to. Who would that be for you in your life? Is that a friend or?
She's my sister-in-law, but she is probably my best friend.
That's so sweet. What's her name?
Lisa.
Okay, so now I want you to say that to Lisa. So you're saying that same script, but you're saying it to her. She's right in front of you. And how would you say that to Lisa?
They say money can't buy happiness, yet every day $4.99 buys you a footlong Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, spicy Italian, and more. Guess what? That's happiness. Subway.
There you go. Do you hear the difference?
Yes.
So much more impacted.
Really
right?
Yeah.
Lisa, put the finger.
I can't wait to tell her this. Yeah.
That is
great. It does make a difference.
Yeah, thank you so very much for being the guinea pig for that. So do you see what I mean? So choose somebody in the booth. When you're going through your script, make sure you have someone.
I'm gonna let John do this for cause.
Great. Can I borrow someone's paper?
Notebook.
The notebook, yeah. Just whatever the pages that we're on. Whoever has that. Oh, you got it. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So pause. The big thing we want to try to communicate is that, not to say I had to communicate, is that the voice follows what the body does, right? So everything's connected in here. The reason I'm even taking this copy is I'm going to read it the first time, and I'm just going to read it, just for the words. And then I'll do it a second time, and I'm going to use my body and my hands to steer my performance. Typically, I don't know how many of you are Italian by descent. People talk with their hands, usually, especially Italian people. So you can use your hands if you're trying to emote bigger. Typically, you're starting to express. You even just in reading that the second time, I noticed your body. You're starting to lean in more. There's a little bit of kind of you're doing this like pumping motion with your arm almost reaching out. So let me just read it first, and you'll hear. Introducing Freeze It from Discover. It allows you to prevent new purchases on your account in seconds if your card is misplaced. And once you find your card, you can switch it right on again.
freeze it, only from Discover. Get it at discover.com. So that's just reading, right? That's not storytelling. That's not really performing. And the trick with voiceover is we're still trying to perform it as a human, as a real person, because people don't want to be just talked at. They want to be talked to. So we can also segue into notes, right? So you see this is the notes version that Ryan added all of his little notes. So we can see these two parallel lines. After Discover, that's going to be a little space. New, maybe the client wants to emphasize that it's a new purchase. Seconds, if your card is misplaced, you drew a little loop under it, maybe to drive through it. Then there's little parentheses once you find your card, so it's like an aside. There's the, if you notice the little M or it says the Joan Collins shoulder pads, right? So it's like maybe shrug, or shrug your shoulders, maybe. Only from Discover. So maybe that's going to be a little bit more salesy. Only from Discover. That's important that we nail that. Get it at discover.com. We see the arrow going down. So we want that to be end on a down note. So I'm going to use my hands and my body to orchestrate how I perform. And I'm going to talk to one person, my best friend, Eric, who I grew up with. Introducing Freeze It from Discover. It allows you to prevent new purchases on your account in seconds if your card is misplaced. And once you find your card, you can switch it right on again. Freeze it, only from Discover. Get it at discover.com. So you see there are little like that discover.com I kind of threw away because I wanted to remind myself, nope, down. And often you can even point down. So I steered everything with my body. I did the shoulder shrug. I threw some of it away. I tried to drive through. So all of those things, the voice follows what the body does, or as Brian does it, the voice follows what the body does.
Yeah. And again, these are foundational, so you won't even think about this a year from now because it'll just be rote. It's just things to help guide you in the beginning. Learn the foundation so that you can throw away some of it you need to and kind of divert from that. The other thing, connect, cause, communicate. Know what you're saying, know why you're saying it. A lot of people, I mean, I'm guilty of it. If the day gets busy, I just pull up the script from the audition, and I get in the booth, and I just start doing it as a final. Like I'm going to edit it and send it off to the agent, and I'm like, wait a minute, you did not have to do anything with that copy. It sounds like crap. So, like for this, the sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code or rules about when to enjoy it. So if I read this, and I'm not in the right headspace knowing why I'm communicating this, it's like saying, sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code. No rules about when to enjoy it. Now, it may sound good, but it doesn't have anything to do with the copy or what it's trying to say. So all that to say, know your script. Take the time to go over it. Know why you're saying it. And I think you have something that adds on to that. From earlier, I can't remember how you said that earlier. It's just good.
Yeah, I think that, well, it's really easy in voiceover to just get dependent on the script because you're like, I have the words in front of me, but with on-camera stuff, you have to memorize it. So you have to know you're visualizing stuff that's happening, you're knowing your intention and why you're saying it, and who said what to make you say that. There's so much to it, but in voiceover, it's really easy to kind of get lazy and just rely on the script and not think through those things. But you still have to, again, voiceover is acting, so you still have to think about that stuff, even if you have the script in front of you. You already have the words, but you still have to act. You still have to know why you're saying it, what's getting you to that place to say it.
And you'll see it too when you guys step in the booth, because some of the scripts are more announcery than others, are very promotional, and it's like, how do you make this sound like you know what you're talking about and conversational? It's like, but as voice talent, we have to.
Buy one, get one free.
How do you sound conversational with that?
You know you can buy one, get one free.
Exactly.
I
We didn't even practice that.
with cause, or with the why, right? So why am I reading these words? Why are these the words that the editor chose to keep in? It's never just to make a sale. That's the cop-out. Of course they want to make a sale, but that's not the moral of this story. They're trying to tell a story. So what's the story? Where's the humanity? Where's the real people that they're trying to connect with? And what does this mean to them? And how do I, as an actor, interpret that?
And oftentimes with ads, it's always these deeper motivations in all of us. So it's not just that you're going to buy the burger, but it's like, this is going to allow me to eat something nutritious in my day that's already jam packed. You know, it's convenient. It allows me to do the things in life that I want to do. So there's always underlying stuff that talk to our motivation for security, for purpose, for convenience. You know, there's always this.
And that's more indicative. I'm sorry, I gotta get it out or I'll forget. It also depends too if these auditions that come through for these products are national or local. Because if you're getting something from a local advertising company, it could be super straightforward and you don't have to even think deeply. But the more national stuff, it's really diving in because those copywriters are fantastic, and you have to be that much in tune with knowing why you're saying the things that you are. Sorry.
I was gonna say I have a background. I've done a lot of sales and marketing, and what I would say is what the words are saying is not necessarily what they're selling. You have to find what it is that they're selling, in that.
Yeah.
Before we divvy up the scripts, we just wanted to give a few reminders. The first one is, just in the future, don't memorize your script. You're going to have a little bit of time even today with your script to go over it. Don't memorize it. Don't over-rehearse it. But keep in mind what we just went over and try and apply that stuff. The bad part, the negative thing about like memorizing a script or over-rehearsing it is it like kind of trains your brain to think of things and say it a certain way. And so then when you get into a booked session, they're going to direct you and your brain's going to be like, nope. That's not how it is, and it's going to be really hard to get out of that. So just stay flexible.
It's very common to change copy in a book session. They may give rewrites. Well, if you've got one version memorized and you can only work memorized, that's going to be a little bit of a problem.
I just wanted an awkward moment. Just be your authentic self. Be flexible and taking direction in there. Honor the punctuation, unless we direct you otherwise. Just because it's just foundational at this point. Because we'll take you certain directions.
When you go into the booth, take a pen or pencil just so you can mark up your script. If we give you, direction, it just really helps because a lot of times you go in there and somebody will give you 2 or 3 pieces of like direction, and then you're like, okay, great, and you're like, shoot. Totally blanked out all of a sudden. So marking up your script is really good. Little notes. And then also the biggest thing is that first line. It's really important. So always think about what happened, what came before that first line for you to say it. A lot of times an easy way to say it is like, what is the question that Lisa could have asked that first line is the answer to? Okay, so for Subway, they say money can't buy happiness. So what would be the question of like, it can be simple as like, listen, money, that doesn't
just want money because it brings joy.
Well, and this one is, it does bring happiness. It brings substance. They say money.
A lot of money though.
Yeah.
Right.
They say money can't bring happiness, but $4.99. That's happiness. Speaking to that deeper want for happiness, a good sandwich when you're so hungry.
All it takes
Happiness
is
for the on a vacation.
Yeah.
And that's pretty close.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's great. Okay. And then just really, really quick, you will notice on some of these scripts, it'll say like, potential gender that they're looking for, particular what we call specs or specifications that may describe the vocal qualities or tone or like upbeat, energetic, or whatever. We will go a lot more into depth over those specs in class, but just pay attention to what those are. And I think that's it. Do you have anything to say?
Just for after the fact, improv is a fantastic thing to take if you can get yourself in improv classes, because it's the quickest way to learn how to make quick, fast choices, especially when you're in the booth, acting choices, because you're just able to, I need to get to this emotion, or if I need to think of extra things to come up with a copy, because a lot of auditions come through and they're like, improvisation is, what's the word? encouraged. Yeah. So improv's encouraged. Needed bonus if we have improv experience. And you're just able to do things quicker on the fly. It trains your brain to just do things easier way.
You're not changing the words of the script. It's the emotional choices that you're changing. That's kind of where that improvisation is coming from.
Right. Specs and vocal qualities will go into depth in classes, but she already touched on that. Yeah, into pacing. Did we talk about pacing? So pacing is just fast, slow, medium. It's how we talk in everyday life. Or I could be talking really fast like this. Feel free to add that into the copy if it makes sense. Just different things to pay attention to.
Where you take a pause, where you choose to break something up, how you flow through. You saw that note where you had the squiggly line, so like choosing to glide through, or parentheses. Oh, I'm going to break this up. All of that comes with spacing, category, pacing.
Finally, tension and conflict, or tension and solution, which is the resolution. So there's always a problem with conflict in the script. There's always going to be a resolution because they want to sell something, even though we don't know what exactly that is all the time. But Heidi's handing out the scripts right now specific to you. Feel free to use the restroom or take 5. I mean, you can go to the bathroom whenever, but but then take 5-10 minutes and work on the script. And you guys can wander the halls if you want.
And I definitely encourage people to work out loud. It's really hard if you've never actually heard the words coming out of your mouth to then get on mic and hear them for the first time coming out of your mouth. So I really, really encourage you to practice out loud. This is my research.
Oh yeah, it's yours. Sorry, everybody, you get to take that script home so you can mark it up. You do whatever you want to.
How do you read?
.org/. Yeah, and it's also CHOA. Oh, some people say it out, but CHOA.org/heart.
That's awesome.
I love Del Taco already.
Oh, good.
Right?
I
do too.
You said do practice out loud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yeah, go for it, Mary. And you can walk around.
Okay. That is okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really good. It's very good.
Sorry. Yeah, Del Taco.
I've never been.
I had Taco Bell for the majority of my life, and then I'm like, I'm gonna try this Del Taco place. And I'm like, where's this been all my life?
Oh, like yeah, from California. It's like I've known. It's like I knew about Taco, and then when we moved here, it was like and then all of a sudden it's like what?
Oh,
it's like
crap. I need to get
what's right there.
Yeah.
It's like they opened up locations.
We've got 2 around our house. It's so years. And then I don't know what it is.
I think we saw like Del Taco top ones at that hospital.
Hey Tom, are you still there? Did you go to the bathroom?
Where did you get that? Okay, I'll leave it on that.
That's where we're going. Yep. That's awesome.
She also
Yes, we do. I would say for workflow, maybe do first. And did you
Oh yeah, sorry, I put it up right there. See, I'm sorry.
So it's just his isolating.
Okay. So we have to stop. Okay.
Stop and then restart.
Okay.
Did you show 2 recordings?
Oh hey Tom, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Great. I'm gonna have you do the Bass Pro Shop script from the packet.
You're muted again.
Oh, he's practicing it.
He's practicing.
Oh, gotcha.
He's doing the thing we asked him to do.
Right.
That's usually what it's like.
Right, yeah.
Unless you've been doing that all day.
Right. Well, maybe. Probably haven't been. I usually drink so much water.
Oh no, it's good. Oh, that is. I thought we had some here. Oh yeah, that was a pain to move.
Yeah, a long time ago, I just found it, background vocal when I was younger.
Oh,
But
nice.
it was like a big one thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's. I mean, like we had another studio. We've got one at home that I records out of, and then got another room that I record out of. But like stepping into here, it's just an actual room with perfect sound treatment around. It's super quiet. It's a room within a room, so it's no sound. It's fantastic for singing and voiceover. Yeah. I wish we could go back there and show y'all.
Like that's all.
But that's smart posts.
So it's like that's a grammatically a lot of hands and nuts and it's.
That is no joke right there. Daily.
That's amazing.
That's my daughters. That's what they could. That's what they all have in their marching band.
Oh, that's
And so they're all required to have it.
passes out.
There's a lot of bands.
Well, they do.
Oh, it prevents
Something might be. That's good. Yeah, think about that. It could be a dramatic effect. Like, well, we know what's wrong.
And
Yeah, right.
and
I'm not done until
forgot
the I know it's wrong.
Oh my god.
But that's a great example of they'll find the why. So you know objectively. But is there a reason? Are they choosing to break a rule?
I was reading,
Which I've heard you're never gonna actually have that answer or something.
Make the choice. Yeah, if my line of thinking is right, how would they? How might they have wanted this?
I wanted to do it. I didn't make it.
It's okay.
It was fine, but it was fun.
Especially the short term or short form stuff like commercials. You know, you're not reading it.
Plus,
I think
humans make grammatical errors all the
All
time.
the time.
So
Yeah.
it's long form.
Well, and then some of it is
into it. And you'll find
audio.
as
books.
for me, I
They
find
do audio books, I think.
Yeah,
and
the higher the quality of the
my mom
writing,
used to get those,
the
'cause
more
she had, like,
natural the
learning
sound
skills, so she'd be
that
able to
the
get
text
it, and
is.
she just thought it was great.
The lower the quality of the audition, typically.
Something else.
The more commercially it sounds, the more salesy it sounds.
Yes.
But they're really top
Okay,
brands
well,
of
see,
October.
it's funny because I did,
say,
I
you know, how much
did
it
stuff
and
online.
that's kind of what separates
a
good
couple
copy.
years ago.
The goal is to be able to make even bad copies look good.
You all were over there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Could be good or bad.
A lot.
And it's funny.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of demand.
And he has
very
ago.
bored.
Oh, yeah.
Most of our narrators, most of our people come in and strip down to their underwear.
Oh
I think
my God.
it's so
Oh,
because it gets so hot. Yeah.
Naked narrator is a thing.
Well, in Malta,
In the South, yeah, it's way too hot in that booth.
yeah, there was they said, well, this is Malta. And they're like, oh, most of them go, come in this because we just yeah. I was in there for like 15 minutes.
It's like it's perfect for us.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Great story on Facebook who, naked narrator month
Yeah.
somewhere in the South, and she was narrating the book, and she didn't put a sign on her door, so her son opened the door and like literally freaked. What are you doing?
Oh my God.
This is what I do all the time.
Yeah. Oh my
But
God.
yeah, so she's like, just be aware, folks. Put a sign on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
May or may
that's
not be
hilarious.
closed.
I get it. Poor son.
Yeah, because you have to have air conditioning, right?
Right. Right. Yes. Oh
That's
my God.
hilarious.
So funny. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. And you said this great corporate.
Crawford, yes, Greg's here. Yeah, his studio is straight back that way. I told Latanya to take you guys back there, but good. We don't have access to those rooms, unfortunately. The way? Oh, you can see it. He said that you guys did. Yeah. Also, I think it's big. You know, big.
I will take that.
But you know what? She's actually in the fourth street. My grandmother and my mom.
Yeah. My brother was like, oh, so it's good ID. I was like, oh my God.
I changed my mind. That's got to be your state.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's brilliant.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Do you guys practice out loud?
Yes.
And you're not on with CE and Steve.
No, that was a long time ago.
Okay.
I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like my reel is better than my real life, and now I'm like concerned. My reel is like very professional, but it's like, they can tweak it and make you sound better. That's what this band did.
Oh,
So I'm like trying to be comparable to that reel.
That is really tough. That's all right. I mean, we will give people direction for this, but after a certain amount of like suggestions of what to do, we're like, this is it. We're leaving it as is, even if we want to kind of push a little further because we want it to be reflective of what you do in your auditions or what you do in your session.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
But that's why we have the barrier of entry.
Yes.
You need to at least do this. And then even then we have a vetting process where one of our instructors listens through and goes, okay, do they actually know how to do this or what? So,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna just get everybody back in.
I think Tom's been here.
Yeah, I did. Do you?
I got a very Midwest one. Perfect.
Good. She was picking them out for it.
It's so warm.
Yeah, it messed me up the first time. That's not fun. Gotta bring the jury down.
Yeah.
Well, I will also get a picture of you in the booth too. So, yes. So, Tom, I think she's gonna have you go first, just an FYI.
I'll be ready.
Okay, cool. As soon as Mike and John get back, and I think we're waiting on just a couple more people to get started.
There. Everybody else are
Yes. Yep.
Oh, goodness. Precious so much. I always get free.
Improv classes. Gotta breathe.
Oh, gosh. Improv classes. Like they said. Hard to breathe.
Yeah.
Can you give us recommendations of places like improv classes
Might also spend it.
that you guys
More 20 to the least.
So, as far as like stuff outside of voiceover, Dad's Garage is a great place to improv. Get Taped is another place, they have acting classes and improv. And that and Brooke are the people that own it. And we used to be in the same space. Like they used to rent space for us in the old space. And so we adore them. Season friends. Yeah, get taped.
Get taped. And they're in a new location. They're the ones, Matt was my instructor for years. And theirs is geared more towards acting. But if you go there and let them know that, VO is where you particularly want to do it, they know how to cater it.
And this is, you guys are the first to know about this, but we also will be doing like a one-off improv, intro to improv, virtual. It will only be like $50, but the guy that's going to lead it, he was one of the original guys that started Dad's Garage here in Atlanta. And he has a unique perspective because not only is he a professional like improv actor, but he also works at an agency as a creative director.
And he was a voice talent.
And he's a voice talent. So he knows the ins and outs. So one of the things that we tell people to do improv classes, and it is good, but also we want them to know, how do you apply it to voiceover? Because a lot of times in the improv classes, they're going to tell you like just the first thing that comes to your mind and just build off the other people. But it's different in voiceover, and you can't just necessarily come up with the first thing that comes to your mind for voiceover.
Yeah, you can't Will
There
Ferrell
are
that.
some
You got a
boundaries
script that's talking
to
about
it.
Starbucks coffee, and you can't talk about poopy diapers.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. It'll be like just a really good like kind of intro, and then we're using that as to see, would anybody be interested in like either an improv workshop where you get to apply it and go through some scripts, or an ongoing class. But it'll be some really good information too. So that'll be coming up a little later on this year. Okay, so we're gonna start with Tom. Tom has the Bass Pro.
Just stop the voice.
Okay, and then
Well, they're not going to hear anything if it's muted. Oh, yes, they will, because it'll go through that. Anyway.
sorry.
You're good. It was in a bunch of other
Introducing Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's a refreshing beer with a splash of seltzer. It's kind of beer. It's kind of seltzer. Introducing Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's a refreshing beer with a splash of seltzer. It's kind of beer. It's kind of seltzer. It's kind of awesome. Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's beer with a splash of seltzer and only 93 calories. Now available in delicious grapefruit, tasty pineapple strawberry, and refreshing raspberry lemon. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly. I know I wanted to do it for me. As a Midwestern lad, yeah. High school buddy, Joel. You'd be surprised, no. Okay. Introducing Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's refreshing beer with a splash of seltzer. It's kind of beer. It's kind of seltzer. It's kind of awesome. Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's a beer with a splash of seltzer and only 93 calories. Now available in delicious grapefruit, tasty pineapple strawberry, and refreshing raspberry lemon. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly. Have you tried any new beverages lately? Alcoholic beverage? All right. Gotcha. Okay. Hey, Joel, have you had any new beverages lately? Oh, really? Introducing Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's a refreshing beer with a splash of seltzer. It's kind of beer. It's kind of seltzer. It's kind of awesome. Leinenkugel Spritzen. It's a beer with a splash of seltzer with only 93 calories. Now available in delicious grapefruit, tasty pineapple strawberry, and refreshing raspberry lemon. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
So you can't hear us, but you can hear them, right?
Okay, yeah, it's just because of if we had this mic on, it would get feedback from that speaker. So
I'll try and remember to.
No worries. I think I figured it out once he started talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just so we don't make a little feedback loop. Yeah. You're trying to keep it as your head is straight. These aren't the right glasses for here.
Yeah, I need a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Okay. They do say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But at Ashley, we believe that concept is only partially true. They do say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But at Ashley, we believe that concept is only partially true. We believe that when you're passionate about what you do, it's hard to tell where life ends and work begins. Furniture has always been our passion. At Ashley, we believe when you love what you do, 75 years is only the beginning. My college roommate, Demetra. And I need you a little bit louder, too. Oh, okay. Mhm. Okay. Okay. They do say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But at Ashley, we believe that concept is only partially true. We believe that when you're passionate about what you do, it's hard to tell where life ends and work begins. Furniture has always been our passion. At Ashley, we believe when you love what you do, 75 years is only the beginning. Furniture has always been our passion. Furniture has always been our passion. Furniture has always been our passion. Mm-hmm.
What do you like so much about your job? Maybe I'll work at Ashley Furniture. Okay. Okay. They do say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But at Ashley, we believe that concept is only partially true. We believe that when you're passionate about what you do, it's hard to tell where life ends and work begins. Furniture has always been our passion. At Ashley, we believe when you love what you do, 75 years is only the beginning. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. This sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code or rules about when to enjoy it. The only thing this wine comes with This sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code or rules about when to enjoy it. The only thing this wine comes with is an edge. The limited release Apothic Sparkling. Bubbles with an attitude. So, Steph. Okay. My coworker, Kayla. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. 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 This sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code or rules about when to enjoy it. The only thing this wine comes with is an edge. The limited release Apothic Sparkling. Bubbles with an attitude. No. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. This sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code or rules about when to enjoy it. The only thing this wine comes with is an edge. The limited release Apothic Sparkling. Bubbles with an attitude. I really do like it. It works. Oh. Oh. Huh. Okay. 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 This sparkling wine doesn't come with a dress code or rules about when to enjoy it. The only thing this wine comes with is an edge. The limited release Apothic Sparkling. Bubbles with an attitude.
I can. When your child's heart is not working well, you never think about it. But when it's not, you think of little else. Time slows down, priorities change, and when your child's heart is working well, you never think about it. But when it's not, you think of little else. Time slows down, priorities change, and you feel powerless. At the Herma Art Institute, we do everything in our power to give you back yours, empowering you and your child to go from fighter to survivor. I'm talking to my friend Raphael, my golf buddy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. When your child's heart is not working, oh, sorry. When your child's heart is working well, you never think about it. Okay. Okay. Project more. Okay. Thank you. When your child's heart is working well, you never think about it. But when it's not, you think of little else. Time slows down, priorities change, and you feel powerless. At the Herma Heart Institute, we do everything in our power to give you back yours, empowering you and your child to go from fighter to survivor. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. When your child's heart is working well, you never think about it. But when it's not, you think of little else. Time slows down, priorities change, and you feel powerless. At the Herma Heart Institute, we do everything in our power to give you back yours, empowering you and your child to go from fighter to survivor.
All right. At Whole Foods Market, we believe in their. At Whole Foods Market, we believe in foods that are naturally beautiful and fresh, delicious and powerful and full of nutrients. Foods that make us nourished. At Whole Foods Market, we believe foods are naturally beautiful and fresh, delicious and powerful and full of nutrients. Foods that make us nourished and mighty and connects to us on a natural world. So, there are no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, and no artificial preservatives in any of the foods we sell. We believe in real food. Whole Food Market. I didn't hear you, what? Oh, thank you. My friend Dory. Not the fish. she gets that joke a lot. I just did my bar class and I want something healthy to eat. So where should we go? Oh, where should we go to? Oh, at Whole Foods Market. Oh, okay, got it. At Whole We believe in foods that are naturally beautiful and fresh. Yeah, it's like that weird ballet bar. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. At Whole Foods Market, we believe in that. At Whole Foods Market, we believe in foods that are naturally beautiful and fresh, delicious and powerful and full of nutrients. Food that makes us nourished and mighty and connects to us on the natural world. So there is no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, and no artificial preservatives in any of the foods we sell. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market. Okay. Mhm. No, got it. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Yeah. My friend Dory. Okay. At Whole Foods Market, we believe in foods that are naturally beautiful and fresh, Beautiful and powerful and full of nutrients. Food that makes us nourished and mighty and connects to us to the natural world. So there's no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no artificial preservatives in any of the foods we sell. We believe in real food. Whole Food Market. Okay. Oh, well, they're fresh, and I'm pretty sure I won't usually get too many bruised stuff, and the meat won't get too stinky when I buy it that day or the next day. And I can eat random exotic fruits. Got it. Got it. Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay.
Can you hear my heart beating? Okay. Okay. This is Lucy. She has heart failure, but she also has one of the top pediatric cardiac programs in the country. This is Lucy. She has heart failure, but she also has one of the top pediatric cardiac programs in the country. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta offers innovative cardiac treatments that can save kids, like Lucy. Learn more at choa.org/heart. Well, it's funny because I realized that I was imagining talking to my sister, Nancy, and that we were somewhere where she was saying that she and her husband were trying to figure out where to give money, like where to. And then I realized this could be in a host of different arenas, So I guess I was looking at it from a fundraising type position, or. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. This is Lucy. She has heart failure, but she also has one of the top pediatric cardiac programs in the country. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta offers innovative cardiac treatments that can save kids, like Lucy. Learn more at choa.org/heart. Ah! I'm overthinking it. My sister, Nancy. Okay. This is Lucy. Right. Yeah, see, okay, are you imagining she's in the bed not looking good? Okay. I'm thinking she's at a fundraising event walking around chatting with people. You know? Okay. I'll try, yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. This is Lucy. She has heart failure, but she also has one of the top pediatric programs in the country. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta offers innovative cardiac treatments that can save kids, like Lucy. Learn more at choa.org/heart. Okay. 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 Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I know I can be challenging, but I'm deeper than what you see. I'm craving something we're missing. Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I know I can be challenging, but I'm deeper than what you see. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. CeraVe contains 3 essential ceramides to restore the ones I've lost and help repair my natural barrier. So I can lock in moisture and keep us protected. We're in this together. So we've got to have each other's backs and fronts and arms and legs. CeraVe, what your skin craves. My Cura. My Cura. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. My mom. Yeah. Um, maybe why is my skin so dry? Uh, um, my mom. Yeah. It's me. Oh, your skin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. 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 Gotcha. Hey. Saying, it can be hard to kind of manage me. Yeah. No, I do. I get dry skin. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey. Hey. Okay. Okay. Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I know I can be challenging, but I'm deeper than what you see. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. CeraVe contains 3 essential ceramides to restore the ones I've lost and repair my natural barrier. So I can lock in moisture and keep us protected. We're in this together. So we've got to have each other's backs and fronts and arms and legs. CeraVe, what your skin craves. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Sarah V. Okay. Okay, going forward. Yes. Okay. So we're in this together? Okay. Okay. We're in this together. So we got to have each other's backs and fronts and arms and legs. Okay.
I can hear you. Okie dokie, copy that. This is Del Taco's new Del Dollar Deals menu. The world's best value menu with the freshest options at the lowest prices. Thai. This is Del Taco's new Del's Dollar Deals menu. The world's best value menu with the freshest options at the lowest prices. Like the chicken crunch burrito for only $1. Because nobody has more deals than Del. Del's Dollar Deals, that's fresh as Del. Price and participation may vary. Okay. And do I read the alt as well? Okay. Yes. Okie dokie.
I'll tell you why.
All right. This is Del Taco's new Del's Dollar menu. The world's best value menu for fresh options at the lowest prices. Like a chicken crunch meal for only $1. Because nobody has more deals than Del. Deals, deals, deals. That's fresh as Del. Price participation vary. Okay. Copy that. This is Del Taco's new Del's Dollar Deals menu. The world's best value menu with the freshest options at the lowest prices. Like the chicken crunch burrito for only $1. Because nobody has more deals than Del. Del's Dollar Deals, that's fresh as Del. Price and participation may vary. Del's Dollar Deals menu. Please tell me you were recording that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Copy that. This is Del Taco's new Del's Dollar Deals menu. The world's best value menu with the freshest options at the lowest prices. Like the chicken crunch burrito for only $1. Because nobody has more deals than Del. Del's Dollar Deals. That's fresh as Del. Price and participation may vary.
Yes. You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones as everyone else. But did you check eBay? Get deals on everything you need to go back to college like... You just spent a lot of money on this... Okay. You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones as everyone else. But did you check eBay? Get deals on everything you need to go back to college like nobody else. Fill your cart with color. eBay. Thank you. Wait, I'm sorry. Can you turn it up a little bit more? I could maybe make my voice go a little higher. My body? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones as everyone else. But did you check eBay? Get deals on everything you need to go back to college like nobody else. Fill your cart with color. eBay. Mm-hmm. My friend Gabby. Well, she did just buy like these really expensive headphones, so it... Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones everyone else has. But did you check eBay? Get deals on everything you need to go back to college like nobody else. Fill your cart with color. eBay. Thank you.
Yes. Thinking about dinner? Think of the amazing meal you can make when you start with fresh fish. Think cod from Iceland, salmon from Chile, or grouper from the Florida Gulf. Fillets that have never been frozen are always delicious and brought to you fast. Thinking about dinner? Think about the amazing meal you can make when you start with fresh fish. Think of cod from Iceland, salmon from Chile, or grouper from the Florida Gulf. Fillets that have never been frozen are always delicious and brought to you fast. Because doing things the right way is our way, and that makes all the difference. So you think you're up for making something delicious today? Stop by our seafood department at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Yes. Thinking about dinner? Think of the amazing meal you can make when you start fresh with fish. Think of cod from Iceland, salmon from Chile, or grouper from the Florida Gulf. Fillets that have never been frozen are always delicious and brought to you fast. Because doing things the right way is our way, and that makes all the difference. So if you think you're up for making something delicious today, stop by our seafood department at Publix, where shopping is our pleasure.
Yes. Oats seems pretty simple, right? They're actually kind of extraordinary. See, oats seem pretty simple, right? They're actually kind of extraordinary. See, oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Beta what? Stay with me here. This is where it gets interesting. This fiber really doesn't like cholesterol, so it traps some of the bad cholesterol and shows a thing or two, making Quaker oats a delicious part of a heart-healthy diet. High five, fiber. It's like I'm giving you the tea. Like here's the deets. Here are the details. Mm. Okay. Oats seem pretty simple, right? They're actually kind of extraordinary. See, oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan.
Beta what? Stay with me here. This is where it gets interesting. This fiber really doesn't like cholesterol, so it traps some of the bad cholesterol and shows a thing or two, making Quaker oats a delicious part of a heart-healthy diet. High five, fiber. Okay. Okay. Oats seems pretty simple, right? They're actually kind of extraordinary. See, oats contain a soluble fiber called beta glucan. Beta what? Stay with me here. This is where it gets interesting. This fiber really doesn't like cholesterol, so it traps some of the bad cholesterol and shows a thing or two, making Quaker oats a delicious part of a healthy diet. High five, fiber. I feel like I'm still like in my head. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little. Okay. Okay. We surf it, we explore it, we live it. We surf it, we explore it, we live it. It's a part of us, and it's time we protect it. Run. We surf it, we explore it, we live it. It's part of us, and it's time we protect it. We're on a mission to stop an extinction, to save an ocean and all its life. From park to planet, see it here. Save it there. SeaWorld. My cousin Mari. Yes. Like
we go in the water and we try to see what's in it, or like scuba diving. Yes. Maybe like people that live near the ocean and probably fish in it to eat food, maybe? Hmm. What do you mean? Oh, to save an extinction? I mean, to save an ocean? Yes. We surf it, we explore it, we live it. It's part of us, and it's time we protect it. We're on a mission to stop an extinction, to save an ocean and all its life. From park to planet, see it here. Save it there. Zero. Yes. We surf it, we explore it, we live it. It's a part of us, and it's time we protect it. We're on a mission to stop an extinction, to save an ocean and all its life. From park to planet, see it here. Save it there. Zero. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Wrong for in our day. Good job, everyone. Okay, so I know we're running a little late. I'm sorry about that. Really quick, as far as next steps go after the workshop. So the first thing is, obviously, I know we've already talked about this, but continuing to train to get ready for that demo, to learn how to set up a home studio. That would be the next thing. You don't have to do it with us, but we do have options if you do want to continue with Atlanta Voiceover Studio. One of the most popular things that we do is the beginner intensive, and that's a 3-month class, but it really goes over, really the foundation of commercial VO, but we also touch on some animation and improv. It's a curriculum, so it's got like over 50-something pages, and we have a new one that starts every single month. It's offered in person, but you can also do it virtually if you want to, or even a hybrid. So if you're like, 3 months is great, but I may have some nights where like I'm working a little later and I can't get here, then you can always attend virtually, which is a nice thing about that because it is a long time commitment. But we also have private coaching. So that's another option for next steps if you feel like you prefer just to meet with somebody one-on-one to work on what you need to work on. Then we also have that available. That's on our website, and there's a bunch of different private coaches to choose from. That's all done virtually, but it can be done on your schedule. So we have some more advanced classes, but I'd really recommend you kind of work a little bit more on that foundational, just practice too a little bit more before you get into some of the more in-depth classes. Now, I know we already mentioned too, like if audiobooks is the thing that you're really focused on, you could just jump into the audiobook class without doing some of the other stuff. And the next one starts, I think, in a couple of weeks with Kurt Bonham, and that's on Monday nights, and that's all virtual. We've got a lot of other offerings too. We've got free stuff too. We want to continue to provide resources. There's so much to learn. And it's hard to absorb everything all at once too. So that's why we want to continue to give you guys the information and resources that you need. So make sure that you're subscribed to our email newsletter because we try and give really good tips there. Sometimes it gets stuck in the junk mail or promotions if you have Gmail. So just make sure that you have it as like a preferred sender. Our YouTube channel too has some really great resources, and you can kind of even look through there depending on if you want to know a little bit more about demos. We've got some videos on demos. Our podcast, I said you listen to the podcast, right? That's a monthly thing, and we have industry experts on, and you can kind of dive a little bit deeper in that way. And then we do have some networking events where you can meet other voice talent in Atlanta, which is great to connect. So I think that's it. If you have any questions even that you think of after this time, you can always email us. Oh, I forgot one thing, sorry. The beginner intensive, if that is something that you're like, I already know, I want to sign up for the beginner intensive after this, then if you do it on the day of the intro, you do get $50 off the first month of the beginner intensive. So just let me know afterwards. And then if you go through our whole beginner intensive, we do give you $150 off a demo with us if you choose to do it with us. It's just our way of saying like, awesome job in doing 3 months, and we want to reward you and give you something back for that. So
3 months is 1 night a week.
It's 1 night a week. Yeah. And it's a different night depending on which class is starting that month. So like February, it's Aaron's class, but actually John's going to be teaching that round. And that's on Wednesday. Tuesday nights. Sorry. It used to be Wednesday nights, on Tuesday nights. Now, but the one that starts in March is on Thursday nights. So does that make sense? And then if you have any questions about what night, you can ask us. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns or complaints or anything?
Everybody's going to Delta here.
Yeah, right. Hope they still have the dollar deals. Well, guys, you all did really good. You're such a great group. It was so fun to just get to know each one of you. And Mike and I are really serious about, like, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. So we hope to be a good resource.
And John will be sending your MP3s to your inbox within.
Some of you should already have.
Listen back to those because it's so helpful. You may go, oh, I heard it in the booth, but it's different when you listen back to it yourself. Yeah.
Tom, you have any questions? Because you don't hear it through your phone.
Yeah.
No, sir. I just want to validate with John. I did send him an email like he asked me at the beginning of the class. I want to make sure he was able to get that.
He got it. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it, Rob. Tell Julius we said thank you. Tom, oh my gosh. Tom, I called you every name but Tom the whole time. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I go by a lot of names.
Used to say, call me anything you want, just not late for dinner.
Right. Yeah. Hansa, sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah. Are there any sources for, just scripts in general so that you can try
different.
Yeah, just different types of scripts. So there are some online. I will say a lot of those scripts are pretty outdated. That is something that we are working on offering. We just launched this new thing this year called the VO Mentorship Membership. And it's a monthly thing where we have a live Zoom once a month. And we've got a lot of resources in there. And a script bank is one of those things that we want to roll out in the next month or so. But if you do want to get practice, one of the things that you could do is Jill does a virtual script workout every month, and it's like $40. It's not much, and you get a link to a bunch of different scripts, so you can even choose one of those scripts that you want. And then you just go through it in the workout, and that's a great way to get practice and then also to get feedback. So another thing that you can do is you can go on ispot.tv. And then click on the ads, and you'll see some of the main ads that are playing, especially like you're going to see all the Super Bowl ads and everything. And
commercial geek out.
Yeah. And find some of those ads, and then you can transcribe them because you know that it's like national and you already hear what the final thing sounds like. So that would be another great way to be able to practice.
And while you're at it, the mimicking thing was huge when I first started out too. Don't use that as the baseline, but it's good to just practice. Oh, I wouldn't have thought to have done it that way. Oh, he's kind of whispering through this. And then you kind of feel what you're capable of. All you're capable of.
Okay, guys.
I just have a couple questions. The first one is, I probably missed this earlier, but should we get a Gmail account to get like the, what do you call it, the Google Drive? If somebody has something that we like, gives us copy through Google Drive or something?
Oh, you don't have to have a Google account to access files from Google Drive. So you should.
Something I ran into for another class that I did virtually. I couldn't access files because then I needed to log into Google. So is that a common thing?
I think that's more about when they do the sharing. So as long as they share and they say like anyone with the link can access this, then you should be able to access it without a Google.
Yeah, that said, and I think that holds true. But that said, if you don't have a Gmail account with just your name or your name voiceover, like it might be a good idea to just cozy that and pull that so that you have it for your branding. And just keeping all of your voiceover work in one place with one email, rather than getting it all mixed up with your daily life, your social stuff, your regular work. It is nice to just have one email associated with your voiceover work, so wires don't get crossed by all the time.
Yeah, just Proton Mail and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. No, right, whatever platform you want to be on, it may be a good idea to get a separate email account for your voiceover work, be it Gmail or Proton or whatever. But isolating has its benefit.
Gotcha. Okay, and just weird question. I'm used to like saying the word like coffee, and to me like affirm, to confirm that I've heard. Is that okay? Because we call it script copy, but is that going to come?
I use it plenty of times in sessions.
Yes, it's done.
Yeah.
Do people still say heard? Like young people say
on set? Yeah.
No, just like normal. We just had, there was a guy that was in our classroom, and he used to always say, we give him direction, go heard.
Yeah.
Heard.
It's also,
and I'm like,
Work in the kitchen.
Restaurant.
Like if you ever watched The Bear,
yes,
that heard behind, front, door,
hot behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, and then if you say hot behind, everyone goes, hey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. We try and stay up on it.
That's more like industry. Cool.
I can't.
Well, the whole bit with saying behind and sharps behind, spoiler, a character gets stabbed because they didn't call behind.
When I did the announcing for the marching band competition, they had this thing where they could pay $1 and have this shout out done. I had to have my 14-year-old daughter read them before I read them to make sure that I could announce them because I couldn't understand half of what it was.
Yeah. Don't be a Utah. Skippy toilet, y'all.
Oh, no. Tom's like, what? I am too, but it's exactly. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, guys, have a
Thank you.
great night. We're here if you need us or if you want to sign up for the intensive. We're here.
Thanks for doing 2 in a row.
February.